Hello everyone, welcome back to Dugout Daily. I'm Charlie and today we have another video. This time we are previewing the match where Manchester City continue our pursuit of a record fourth consecutive Premier League title when we travel to Craven Cottage to face Fulham at Saturday lunchtime. Before we get going, make sure to like, share and subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Dugout Daily, the football channel. Hit the Apex DF1 channel and at MCFC Hibs on Twitter. We will get going then, and the Cottagers are seeking revenge against the reigning champions after they suffered a heavy 5-1 defeat in the reverse fixture at the Etihad Stadium back in September. We will start then with Manchester City's Premier League form, as we've won 6 in a row. Last time out for both teams, starting with Fulham on Saturday at 3 o'clock in the Premier League. They drew 0-0 away at Brentford. At 5:30 on the same day, we beat Wolves at home 5-1. Fulham have scored 51 goals in the Premier League this season, whereas Manchester City have scored 87. Next up then, we will move on to the head-to-head. We will start on March the 13th, 2021 at 8 o'clock as it finished Fulham 0, Manchester City 3, with goals from Stones in the 47th minute, Jesus in the 56th minute, and Aguero with a 60th minute penalty. We then met in the fourth round of the FA Cup on February the 5th, 2022 at 3 o'clock as Carvalho made it 1-0 to Fulham in the 4th minute. Gundogan equalised in the 6th minute, then Stones made it 2-1 in the 13th minute. Mahrez scored a brace in the 53rd minute from the penalty spot and the 57th minute goal. Walker was booked in the 48th minute. And then on November the 5th, 2022 at 3 o'clock, it finished Manchester City 2, Fulham 1, as Alvarez made it 1-0 in the 17th minute. Pereira scored a 28th minute penalty for Fulham as Braut Haaland scored a 95th minute penalty for Manchester City. And then on April the 30th, 2023 at 2 o'clock, it finished Fulham 1, Manchester City 2, as Braut Haaland scored a 3rd minute penalty. Vinicius made it 1-1 for Fulham in the 15th minute, as Alvarez made it 2-1 in the 36th minute. And then on September the 2nd, 2023 at 3 o'clock, it finished Manchester City 5, Fulham 1, as Alvarez scored in the 31st minute, as Ream scored a 33rd minute equaliser. Ake scored in the 50th minute, as Haaland scored a hat-trick in the 58th, 70th minute penalty, and the 95th minute. Rodri and Silva were booked for City in the 41st and 78th minutes, as Diop, Robinson, Reed, and Pereira were booked for Fulham in the 43rd, 48th, 54th and 69th minutes. We will move to the form then, and Fulham have only won 1 of their last 6, with that run being a 3-1 loss away at Nottingham Forest, a 1-0 loss at home to Newcastle, a 2-1 win away at West Ham, a 3-1 loss at home to Liverpool, a 1-1 draw at home to Crystal Palace, and a 0-0 draw away at Brentford. Manchester City have won 5 of our last 6, with that run being a 5-1 win at home to Luton, a 1-1 draw and a 4-3 loss on penalties at home to Real Madrid, a 1-0 win at Wembley against Chelsea, a 4-0 win away at Brighton, a 2-0 win away at Nottingham Forest, and a 5-1 win at home to Wolves. Manchester City's top scorer this season is Erling Haaland, as he scored 25 Premier League goals and 38 in all competitions. His last league goal was at home to Wolves on May the 4th. He scored 4 braces, a hat-trick and a quadruple. Next up then, we will move as Manchester City are out to break an all-time English football record in our Fulham clash. Manchester City will be looking to break an all-time English football record when we travel to Craven Cottage to face Fulham in the Premier League at Saturday lunchtime. The citizens have strengthened our pursuit of an unprecedented fourth consecutive title after putting together an impressive 20-game unbeaten run in the top flight, including 6 wins and 4 draws. Since playing out a goalless draw with title rivals Arsenal, Manchester City have won each of our last 6 league fixtures, as we've scored 24 and only conceded 5. Pep Guardiola's side followed up a 2-0 win at Nottingham Forest with a dominant 5-1 win over Wolves last weekend, with leading marksman Erling Haaland scoring 4. Manchester City will move 2 points clear at the top of the Premier League table with victory over Fulham before current leaders Arsenal travel to Old Trafford to face Manchester United on Sunday. Manchester City will be confident of success on Saturday as we boast an exceptional head-to-head record against the Fulham side, who currently sit 13th and are on course for a mid-table finish. The Cottagers have only won 1 of their last 15 Premier League home meetings with the citizens, as they've drew 5 and lost 9, a 2-1 win back in November 2005 under former manager Chris Coleman. Manchester City, meanwhile, have won each of our last 15 meetings with Fulham across all competitions, a run which began in February 2012 with a 3-0 home win and was most recently extended with a thumping 5-1 home triumph in September last year. The reigning Premier League champions have scored a remarkable 45 goals during this winning streak, as we've netted 2 in all 15 games, and we've also kept a total of 9 clean sheets. Should Manchester City claim maximum points on Saturday, we will set a new English football record for the longest winning run that any team has had against another in history. The Citizens' current 15-game winning run against Fulham matches those that we've set against both Bournemouth and Watford. Ahead of the trip to Craven Cottage, Guardiola has confirmed that every member of his first team squad is fit and available for selection against Marco Silva's side. No injury worries, everyone is fine, Guardiola said at a press conference on Friday. I don't know what other clubs do, but for many years we've had an incredible medical department here. Doing the same thing could be maybe the opposite, but we were fortunate last season too, we had few injuries. Manchester City claimed a 2-1 win the last time that we played at Craven Cottage in April 2023. Carlos Vinicius cancelled out a third-minute penalty from Haaland before a stunning strike from Julian Alvarez secured all 3 points for the visitors. Next up then, we will move to Erling Haaland as he looks to set a fresh Premier League scoring record in the Fulham clash. Erling Haaland will be looking to set a fresh Premier League scoring record when Manchester City travel to Craven Cottage to face Fulham at Saturday lunchtime. The 23-year-old has rediscovered his clinical touch in front of goal since returning from injury and has put himself in the driving seat to win a second successive Premier League Golden Boot. Haaland scored in the second half of City's 2-0 win at Nottingham Forest almost a fortnight ago, less than 10 minutes after coming off the bench, before taking home the match ball following a man-of-the-match display against Wolves last weekend. City's number 9 scored 4, including a first-half hat-trick, to help Pep Guardiola's men win 5-1 against our West Midlands counterparts at the Etihad Stadium, which extended the club's unbeaten league run to 20 matches. Haaland has now scored 25 Premier League goals in 28 games, and despite missing around 2 months of the season due to injury, he sits 4 clear of his nearest challengers in the race for the Golden Boot. Haaland's prolific form this season has been recognised by the Premier League as he's been nominated for both the Player and Young Player of the Season alongside teammate Phil Foden. The Norwegian striker will be confident of ending the season on a high and increasing his goal tally, starting with Saturday's clash against the Fulham side, who he's already had plenty of success against. Indeed, Haaland has found the net 5 times in 3 Premier League meetings with Fulham, including a hat-trick in Manchester City's 5-1 win at the Etihad earlier this season. Haaland has scored a penalty in all 3 of these matches with the Cottagers, and if he nets from 12 yards again on Saturday, he will become the first player in Premier League history to convert from the penalty spot in 4 consecutive appearances against the same opponent in the division. Ahead of Manchester City's trip to Craven Cottage, Guardiola has commented on Haaland's enraged reaction to being subbed in the closing stages of the win over Wolves last weekend. Guardiola has insisted that he has no concerns over Haaland's reaction, telling reporters on Friday he loves to score goals and play like any other striker. His contributions when he arrived have been magnificent. The numbers are here, not just the numbers, many other things. Haaland has since confirmed that he wasn't mad to be taken off by Guardiola, telling Men in Blazers on YouTube, "I wasn't mad for that. I was mad for something completely different. I was super happy that Julian Alvarez came on and scored. Of course, I would love to score more goals, but I wasn't mad about getting subbed." Meanwhile, Guardiola has revealed that he has a fully fit squad at his disposal, with his title-chasing Manchester City side seeking to set an all-time English football record against Fulham. The Citizens currently sit second in the Premier League but can move 2 points clear at the summit with success over Fulham before current leaders Arsenal travel to Manchester United on Sunday. Next up, then, we will move to the match preview as Fulham are set to fall short of last season's top 10 finish following an inconsistent period in 2024, and they require a perfect end to the season if they wish to reach the 50-point mark. 5 wins, 5 draws and 6 defeats have been posted in their last 16 top-flight fixtures since the turn of the year, and they enter Saturday's contest without a win in their last 3, drawing their last 2 against Crystal Palace and Brentford. Marco Silva's side were forced to settle for just a point in a goalless stalemate away against Brentford last weekend, and they remain 13th in the Premier League, 4 points behind 10th place Bournemouth with only 2 games left. Before travelling to relegation-threatened Luton on the final day, Fulham will prepare for their final home match of the season against the title-chasing juggernaut that's Manchester City, who they've beaten just once in their last 15 Premier League home games, a 2-1 win back in November 2005 under former boss Chris Coleman. Fulham have picked up 65% of their Premier League points at home so far this season, with 29 out of 44, while they've already beaten the likes of Arsenal and Tottenham at Craven Cottage, so there's reason for Silva and Co to be optimistic of pulling off an upset this weekend. Manchester City extended our impressive unbeaten run in the Premier League to 20 after putting Wolves to the sword 5-1 at the Etihad Stadium last weekend, largely thanks to the prolific form of leading marksman Erling Haaland. The Norwegian has taken his top-flight goal tally for the season to 25, as he sits at least 4 clear of his nearest challengers in the Golden Boot race, after scoring 4 against Wolves, including a first-half hat-trick, while Julian Alvarez was also on the scoresheet in the last 5 minutes to cap a dominant Citizens display. December the 6th was the last time that Pep Guardiola's men tasted a top-flight defeat, and our title destiny remains in our hands as we sit just a point behind league leaders Arsenal, having played a game fewer. Manchester City will move 2 points clear at the summit with a win on Saturday before the Gunners travel to Manchester United on Sunday. Guardiola has insisted that Arsenal will win the Premier League title if his Manchester City side slip up in any of our remaining 3 matches, but taking into account our relentless form and magnificent record against Fulham, it's hard to envisage the reigning champions dropping points on Saturday. Indeed, the Citizens have won each of our last 15 meetings with Fulham in all competitions, the joint longest winning run any team has had over another in competitive English football history. City have also scored in each of our last 15 top-flight away visits to Craven Cottage, the joint most the team has faced another with a 100% scoring record on the road in the division, along with Manchester United at Middlesbrough. We will move to the Fulham team news then, as their only injury concern is with Serbian midfielder Sasa Lukic, who is ruled out with a small issue in his calf, according to Silva. The absence of Lukic could see Harrison Reed, who was shaken off a knock that forced him to miss the draw with Brentford, starting central midfield alongside Joe Palhinha, while Alex Iwobi operates further forward along with Andres Pereira and Willian. Former Manchester City youngster Tosin Adara-Bayoyo has been left out of the Fulham squad for the last 2 games after reportedly turning down a contract extension. and he may have already played his last game for the club as his current deal expires in June. Issa Diop and Calvin Bassey are set to continue in central defence as a result, while in attack Rodrigo Muniz, who has scored 7 of his 9 Premier League goals at Craven Cottage this season, is expected to lead the line once again. So the predicted team for Fulham is Leno in goal, Castagna, Diop, Bassett and Robinson as a back four, with Palinha and Reid in midfield, Iwobi, Pereira and Willian behind Muniz in attack. Next up then, we will move to the Manchester City team news, as we're set to be blessed with a clean bill of health for Saturday's lunchtime Premier League clash against Fulham at Craven Cottage. The Citizens secured a dominant 5-1 home win over Wolves last weekend and were boosted by the return of both Phil Foden and Ruben Dias to the squad after they missed the previous game through illness. Keeper Ederson was fit to start after shaking off what turned to be only a minor shoulder problem, and he's expected to keep his place in the sticks, while the back four of Kyle Walker, Manuel Akanji, Nathan Ake and Josko Vardio could also remain intact, although both Diaz and John Stones will be pushing for a recall in central defence. Manchester City haven't lost any of our last 71 games that Rodri started, and the midfield maestro is expected to continue in front of the back four, potentially partnered by Mateo Kovacic, who has started 3 of the Citizens' last 4 league matches. Foden, Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva all started in advanced midfield positions last weekend and are all in contention to keep their places in the 11, although Pep Guardiola will consider recalling either or both of Jeremy Doku and Jack Grealish. Julian Alvarez is another who will be pushing for a start, but he isn't expected to displace the Premier League's top scorer Erling Haaland, who netted 4 against Wolves and also scored a hat-trick in the reverse fixture against Fulham back in September last year. So the predicted team for Manchester City is Ederson in goal, Walker, Akanji, Ake and Vardio as a back four, with Rodri and Kovacic in midfield, Bernardo, De Bruyne and Foden behind Haaland in attack. Finally then, we will move to my prediction. Although Fulham can't be taken lightly on Saturday, considering they've already pulled off a few upsets this season, it's difficult to back against the fully fit Manchester City, who are firing on all cylinders and hungry for more top-flight glory. The Citizens boast a brilliant record against the Cottagers, as we've scored at least twice in each of our last 16 meetings, and I believe we will have more joy in the final third at Craven Cottage. So my prediction for this game is Fulham 1, Manchester City 3. So that is it for this video then. Everybody, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Dugout Daily, the football channel. Hit the Apex DF1 channel and at MCFC Hibs on Twitter. Everybody, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll speak to you all soon. Take care and goodbye for now. Cheers, everyone.